obviously on stay in your lane.
And I think that the industry is trying to figure out how to be more productive. And when I say more productive for the driver. It may not be more productive for the equipment. You may have more idle equipment sitting around than you would like, and that's exactly what's happening within the trailer space. You got more idle pieces of trailer sitting there, not doing work, but that is because you are focused on keeping that driver as productive as possible, and that's an inexpensive way to do it.
No, I agree. The industry has more of an issue with driver retention. I've heard a lot of stories, and a lot of people share, out of their 48 to 50 person driving class, they're the only ones that still drive.
Yep.
And know the number of Class A CDL licenses that are out there that people are not using.
Oh, I'm sure it's quite a bit.
So if there was a real demand, and we could come up with capacity, I think we can lure the drivers in with revenue.
I honestly, pay cures a lot of ill. So they can, if you pay enough. In general, I would say that yes, pay more and you will get people to come towards you. However, COVID has kind of changed that perception of, at least in my brain, of that expectation. That I think that there are some people who say it does not matter what I get paid, quality of life is more important than the pay. And I think that's one of the things that's going to have to continue to be thought through by this industry is, how do you keep that quality of life, that expectation, in a way that people that you're trying to hire in, that you can make that a reality? I don't have a good answer, but I mean, I know that's going to be very important. I mean, my kids, gosh, I've got a 24 down to 16. They, the quality of life for them is hugely important. They're not typically driven by money, and it blows my mind in the sense of, I will be like, hey, I'll pay you X to do something. And they'll be like, no, I need this downtime. But I get it in the sense of they are already prioritizing mental health and quality of life over pay. And I think that this industry is going to have to understand that, because I don't think it's going away.
No, I think it's real. I think it's a valid, realistic perspective to have. I think that the younger generation, though, that we're starting to see come out, they're more back to our older fundamentals from a value system, where they want to make as much as they can make, and they'll make some sacrifices. Whereas I think for a while there, we ran into the new people coming to the workforce said, I watched my parents work themselves to death. I'm not doing that. Right?
Yeah, you always have ebb and flow.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I'll be curious. I don't know if I think it's too early to know what this Gen Z environment looks like, and how they will behave as they move into the workforce. It's gonna be fascinating. All I know is
when they're living on their own and they're not living in mom and dad's house.
Yeah,
the motivation's going to change.
Things change.
I don't disagree with that fundamental premise. Yet at the same time, their quality of life, and I think it depends on each kid. Don't get me wrong, but their quality of life expectations are radically different than, say, when we were growing up. But I guarantee you, our parents said that about us, and everybody else has said. So as I get older and the hair kind of lessens on the top of my head, I
love your hair.
John, it's like looking in the mirror, man. We have never looked
You're
better.
An innovator.
That's it.
I thought this was a hair club for men.
Oh my God.
Look at the pelt on him, and he taking shots at us like that.
Oh, Lordy. You guys are cracking me up.
Have you enjoyed it? Have you enjoyed the conference so far?
Yeah, it's been great. It's been very nice. Man, there are a lot of people here. When I came in to check in last night, there were so many people in the lobby. I literally was yelling to talk to the gal who was checking me in at the front desk, because there were so many people here. It was fantastic and horrifying at the same time, that I'm like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe it's this loud.
Yeah, they've got over 1,300 people this time. So
And I think all 1,300 of them were
we're in the lobby.
I think the market lends itself to there being 1,300 people here,
Yeah. Yep.
which says a lot. But I think to your point, I think we're going to see it's an election year. Things are going to be pretty slow. Not going to see any major bumps. We might have some short lead time hiccups around the holidays, third or fourth quarter, but I don't think anyone's going to get out of this at any time soon. And moving into next year, we'll see.
The one risk that I did highlight in my session for folks is if there is more pressure to do inventory restocking sooner rather than later, which is possible, then you could see some pressure in the system in the second quarter, maybe early third quarter, that people didn't expect. But is it going to fundamentally change things? No. But could they feel it a little bit? Potentially. But I think it would be short-lived as that inventory restocking happens.
Well, I think we're seeing. I had Dan North on. You know the economist Dan North.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of credit card debt Americans are taking on right now is a big number. And at 21% if they have good credit, 28% if they have bad credit. And that may impact the second half of the year more so than what we are anticipating. Is what I'm hearing.
The one thing I would push back on from that perspective, I don't disagree with that premise. There's a couple things though. Is the amount of cash that the consumer is still holding on to is significant. COVID helped that, but if you just even look at where we are now from a trend perspective, we're above trend of how much cash they would typically be holding at any given point in time. So, and it's not just the top 50%, it's the bottom 50% percentile of the population that has cash. The other thing then too is we have seen delinquency rates for credit card debt going up. And in theory, it's back to 2012 levels, yet we're still very, very low. So before the Great Recession, we were probably double that amount. So we still have a lot of wiggle room before anything becomes overly concerning. And right now, I'm not seeing the consumer getting overly crazy relative to their financial situations. Could that change? Yes. But the data really right now is not supporting that yet.
Well, we know the housing market's not moving. There's no movement there across the board. I mean, there's still strong markets, but interest rates, people are staying because they're not letting go of the interest rates they have.
Correct. And my general thought is that as we get interest rates kind of coming back down into that 6% range, they're still up in the 7s. That will slowly start to change, but it's going to be dependent upon what are the expectations. If they expect that the Fed is going to pull interest rates back soon, then they'll wait. We don't think that that's a likely situation. It's probably 6 to 9 months away before they really start pulling back on interest rates. The other thing that's odd, though, too, is you're still seeing the average home price that gets sold continues to go up. So we're still up about 5%. So there's this push-pull dynamic where there's still fundamental demand there, but because of interest rates, people are waiting. And we have seen a collapse on the existing home sale market. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it went down about 40%. So it's very low. But you're still seeing only 3 months of inventory out there for existing homes. That is so, anytime you're below 5, it's tight. And so it is really, really tight right now. So that market, it can turn very quickly. And I do agree that the interest rate is going to be the fundamental issue. Is does it kind of get back to what people would expect it to be? And I think everybody's kind of like, we're at the peak and they're thinking it's going to ease back. They're playing that hedge game for the moment.
I guess I was going to say, I guess the other thing that's surprising is with the rise in interest rates, in your normal economic theory, that would drive unemployment up, right? I mean, companies would get, okay, we've got high interest rate. We're going to stop laying people off. We got to save money, but that really hasn't happened. There's still a lot of job openings. Unemployment rates really haven't haven't changed that much. So
Correct.
again, is the reason because we got so many job openings? Is that why? Maybe that's a new dynamic. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, this is all kind of that catch up from the post-COVID environment where we're trying to still figure that out. But participation rate is getting close to back to where we were before. It's still below, but it had been creeping up. It's kind of just sitting there now. So we're seeing more participation of people. But you're right, unemployment rate number really hasn't moved. But that the delta between the number of job openings versus the number of people hiring has started to kind of come down. There was a huge disconnect before there.
So it's getting closer.
And it's getting closer. It's getting back closer to trend of where we would normally expect it. So I think we're getting, again, kind of going back to things that are more normalized than they were before. And that's nice because it becomes more predictable for us. Up till now, it's been very unpredictable because we didn't know what normal was because it was a post-COVID environment.
The new normal, right?
Right. Yeah. No, exactly. So.
Very good.
Okay.
Do you have any questions for us?
I don't. I should have brought some questions. I'm so sorry. I apologize. Next time.
I'll file a grievance.
I'm bringing some questions. Okay.
Can I call you for the Sweet 16? I'll need some forecasts and some some predictions.
You can call me. And so last year to help you, so I'm an Indiana University basketball fan. And
Bobby Knight?
Not a huge Bob Knight fan, but that's a whole different story. Well, we can get into that later. But I, for last year to get into the finals, I picked Purdue. And it hurt me, but I was like, you know what? It is the right thing to do. I'm picking Purdue. And they lose right away.
Right away.
Okay. That's the last time I do that. I tried.
So you don't bet with your heart.
Oh, usually I do, man. I just, straight IU all the way to the end, man. And what the heck? One day I'll be right. So.
Remember, two years ago, Purdue went out in the Sweet 16 to St. Peter's, which is my college.
Oh, nice. Okay, I get it. Yes.
Yeah, maybe I won't call you for March Madness.
Oh, you can call me. I just don't bank on it.
Okay.
Hey, I hope you enjoy your time here at the conference.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate the time, man. It's good to hang out with you. So.
Would you bring a value, I think, to the conference? The conference definitely brings everyone value that comes. You've been coming for years. Joe, I've known you since I started coming here. It's been enjoyable. Until then, stay in your lane and go Buckeyes.
Oh.